former partner, actress Tebogo Tobejane. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
Police watchdog IPID previously recommended the city of Ekurhuleni take disciplinary action against EMPD Deputy Chief Brigadier Julius Muanazi, who allegedly provided blue lights to attempted murder accused Vusumuzi Ketmatlala. More than a year has passed since the Police Investigative Directorate wrapped up its investigation, yet no action has been taken against the EMPD top cop. The Independent Ratepayers Association of South Africa has now tabled an urgent motion for his suspension, with the Ekurhuleni City Council expected to decide on the matter today. The association argues that the allegations leveled against the Metro's top cop seriously undermine the credibility and integrity of both the municipality and its police department. It further stresses that claims linking him to an alleged underworld figure cannot be ignored. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard that Police Minister Senzo Mchunu did not have the authority to issue an instruction to disband the KZN Political Killings Task Team. This is part of the head of the SAPS's legal division, Petronella van Rooyen's testimony before the Commission today. Van Rooyen says the task team falls under an operational matter, which is the sole responsibility of the National Police Commissioner. Oren Singh has more.
Earlier this week, National Police Commissioner Fani Masimola outlined his role and responsibilities versus that of a police minister. In line with the Constitution and SAPS Act, a National Police Commissioner is responsible for operational matters, whereas the police minister is responsible for political oversight, policy and legislative frameworks. During her testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry this morning, head of SAPS's legal division, Major General Petronella van Rooyen, echoed Masimola's sentiments, saying Mchunu's letter was clearly an instruction related to operational matters.
Did the minister have the power to command the closure of a task team? And in my view, he did not have that authority.
Van Rooyen is expected to also speak to the legalities around the reassignment of 121 dockets from the KZN PKTT to National Police Headquarters in Pretoria. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
To this now, a memorial service is set to be held today to celebrate the life of slain National Taxi Alliance chairperson Thamsanqa Moya. Family, friends and colleagues will gather at the Diepkloof Community Hall for the service in Soweto today. Moya was shot and killed last week on the Soweto highway while travelling alone to a meeting. Ntokozo Khumalo reports.
Gauteng Transport MEC Gidiboni Diale Tlhabela is expected to be one of the mourners in attendance at the memorial service of Thamsanqa Moya. Although the motive for his killing is not yet known, tensions in the taxi industry are believed to be the cause. Moya has been described by many as instrumental in the fight to bring peace to the taxi industry in Gauteng. A case of murder has been opened and investigations are underway after his bullet-riddled car was found on the Soweto highway. Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News.
The city of Cape Town is beefing up its policing efforts with the mass deployment of 700 Metro Police officers. City bosses say at least 5 officers will be stationed in every ward. The city's Robbie Roberts says these teams are fully equipped to reduce pressure on the South African Police Service.
We started off with Project 1000. We deployed 495 new Metro Police officers in 93 wards with the Metropole. And then we also deployed 210 members for escort services in the hotspot areas with regarding to extortion.
Roberts says the teams are ready to hit the ground running and will be introduced to ward councillors, CPF members as well as neighbourhood watch members.
Our approach is to introduce them to the ward councillors in each of the wards and to the different CPFs, neighbourhood watches as well as the business forums so that they can be known to everybody in the different wards.
And Indian security forces have imposed a curfew in some areas after 4 people were killed in violent protests. Yesterday, protesters took to the streets demanding statehood for Himalayan region of the Ladakh. Since 2019, the Buddhist and Muslim communities joined together in demanding the restoration of statehood along with greater autonomy, which could have given them job quotas. According to reports, a committee set up by the federal government is likely to meet leaders from the region early next month. Gold is trading at $3,756.17 an ounce. The rand is at 17.30 to the dollar, 23.27 to the pound, 20.32 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.14 a barrel.
Well, at this hour, if you are leaving the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on the M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. And if you are traveling through Bedford View, heading towards the Germiston area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the N3 southbound between the Gilulis Interchange and the Galdenays Interchange. Also, traveling towards Midrand, that's leaving Alexandra. Expect some delays. N3 northbound between Marlborough Drive and the Batlu Interchange.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees, while Cape Town is fine with a fresh southeasterly wind at a high of 22. The top story in EWN this hour. Ekurhuleni Metro Police Deputy Chief Julius Muanazi is once again in hot water after a motion was tabled for his suspension.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, a new witness at the Madlanga Commission, an urgent motion to remove Ekurhuleni's acting head of community safety, Julius Muanazi. South Africa's sexual offence legislation is before the Constitutional Court, and we'll bring you behind-the-scenes audio from the President and political party leaders from the GNU negotiations. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. We'll get into that lead story about the EMPD Ekurhuleni acting head of community safety, Julius Muanazi, responding to being implicated at the Madlanga Commission. Also, a new witness who's focusing on governance and policy framework. So not exactly riveting stuff at the Madlanga Commission, but necessary stuff. It's a Thursday, and on Thursdays we speak to the author of a local non-fiction book, and I can't interview myself, unfortunately. Clement Manyetela will be doing that. Lester Kivet will be doing that. John Mathan will be doing that. But I'm going to bring you some behind-the-scenes audio from my new book, The Deal, which is about the negotiations for a GNU. So you'll hear from my interview with President Cyril Ramaphosa, with Gayton McKenzie, who is now considering leaving the GNU, and with Helen Ziller, who is now running for mayor of Johannesburg. So all very contemporaneous and newsworthy stuff. That's towards the end of the show. But let's start with the Madlanga Commission. But let's also start with somebody who was implicated. So the acting head of community safety, Julius Muanazi, is responding. The Democratic Alliance in Ekurhuleni has brought an urgent motion to council to suspend him following the allegations made by the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Muanazi at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, is on this story for us. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Firstly, for those who haven't been following the Madlanga Commission, remind us what the allegations were against Julius Muanazi.
Good afternoon, Mandy. So I'll take it back to 2023 and early 2024. I remember Eyewitness News, we covered this story. IPID had concluded its investigation on Julius Muanazi, and it found that he unlawfully dished out blue lights to alleged underworld boss Vusumuzi Kat Matlala in 2023. And those videos were seen on Instagram, his partner taking their children to school using cars that were fitted with government blue lights that he allegedly got unlawfully. IPID concluded that investigation and said that the city of Ekurhuleni needs to take action against him. That was last year. I'm surprised that only now the city of Ekurhuleni is beginning to act against him. So fast forward last week at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, Nhlanhla Muanazi, KZN Police Commissioner, spoke about Julius Muanazi, the EMPD top cop, and said that he is using government blue lights unlawfully, that he received from he gave Kat Matlala those blue lights unlawfully. And today, the city of Ekurhuleni is meeting behind closed doors, the city council, to discuss this matter. We understand that they're going to be discussing possible suspension of the EMPD top cop, Julius Muanazi. So at the end of the day, we should know whether or not he's suspended.
So the DA has brought this motion to have him suspended, but he's also been responding. I've seen he's done some interviews. You're due to speak to him as well.
Yeah.
How does he explain this?
He still denies that he gave those blue lights to Vusmuzi Kat Matlala in 2023 unlawfully, despite us having seen video footage of his partner taking their kids to school on Instagram using those blue lights. Despite the IPID's report, the IPID's findings as well, that those blue lights were indeed given to Vusmuzi Kat Matlala and that they were used to take those children to school. He still denies that he was involved in any of that, despite the IPID report, despite the video proof that we've seen. He's saying that he's innocent. We're seeing now that he's saying he's taking precautionary leave until this matter is dealt with by the city of Ekurhuleni and the Madlanga Commission. But so far, he's denying, despite the proof that we've seen.
Alpha, thank you so much. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter. He's due to speak to the acting head of community safety, Julius Muanazi, in a short while, just to get an explanation there. But this is the accountability that we need to see now from the Madlanga inquiry. And they've spoken about tight timelines. They've spoken about, as the inquiry proceeds, there needs to be investigations. There has to be accountability. There can't be nothing happening. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, has been following the inquiry for us and joins us now in our Johannesburg studio. Oren, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time today. A new witness on the stand. Tell us who is testifying and what is this about?
Afternoon, Mandy. We've got Major General Petronella van Rooyen before the commission this morning. She is the head of SAPS's legal division. Quite a senior post within SAPS. She's got some more than 2 decades experience within SAPS, and she's been testifying around the legalities around 2 main points here, Mandy, of contention. Number one, whether Police Minister Senzo Mkunu's instruction to disband the political killings task team was within his powers to do so, and number two, that interesting focal point of much of what Muanazi has been saying, the 121 case dockets that were unlawfully, allegedly, taken from the KZN Political Killings Task Team and transferred to National Police Headquarters in Pretoria under the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya. We heard from her this morning claiming that she believes, and this is her personal opinion, because it falls within the commission themselves to determine whether it was unlawful or not, but she believes the instruction for the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team was out or not within the powers of Senzo Mkunu. She's saying that he overstepped his role. He is in charge of policy and legislative and political oversight as the police minister, but operational matters, which is what this task team was, it was an operational task team, falls within the line of the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masimola.
The intention of this inquiry is obviously to get to the bottom of the allegations made by General Muanazi, and I've mentioned the fact that they require tight timelines. What we're seeing now in Ekurhuleni with Julius Muanazi, is this what we're expecting to see as evidence comes out about an individual, a expeditious investigation, accountability?
I think it's what we're expecting to see, but with that said, Mandy, this should have been done a long time ago. I mean, the story broke in 2023 February. We caught wind, Alpha caught wind of the reports late 2023. We had sight of this report, despite Muanazi claiming it's a classified document. Part of investigations and what we do as a journalist is to get hold of some of these documents. And despite the media putting out these stories about Muanazi being involved with cats and allegedly providing him with these blue lights, we're only seeing some sort of movement now because it's come out in the commission. I mean, IPID's report was there. Surely IPID should have pushed for action on their report. The city of Ekurhuleni themselves, council, should have pushed to enact that report and the recommendations made within it.
Oren, thank you very much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, thank you very much for your time. Let's take a quick listen in to what's happening at the commission.
The evidence of the National Commissioner arising from that affidavit is that he worked with Lieutenant General Khumalo to prepare a report to the Minister on the alternative proposal to the disbandment, but that he never authorized the handing over of the dockets. Then if I can ask you to proceed from paragraph 91, concluding with 92.
However, Lieutenant General Muanazi, as a provincial commissioner, confirmed that he was never informed prior to the removal of his dockets, nor was he consulted on the possible disbandment. From April 25 to August 25, these dockets were stored at head office in compliance with Lieutenant General Sibiya's direction. In September 2025, a joint media statement was released by the Ministry of Police and the National Commissioner, directing that the dockets head back to KZN. And this is part of my File 2, VR7, a newspaper report confirming the terms of his statement.
Yes, that's at 118 to 119. The National Commissioner testified on that and gave context regarding that media statement and how it was misinterpreted, because that process had commenced long before the postponement of the commencement date of the commission, and he had explained that properly in his evidence. Then the next topic.
Mr. Matau, before you go to the next topic, General, focusing on the prescripts, we know what General Masemola said and what General Muanazi said. Is it consistent with any prescript that you are aware of, whether it's the national instructions or other directives? Is it consistent with any of those for dockets to be taken from a province or a unit or a task team and be stored at national office for a period of up to 5 months without any investigations taking place?
No, Commissioner, it is not. And I think the first reason that raises alarm is it means the investigations are stagnant. Nothing is happening. On that investigation, you would expect the police to proceed as fast as possible and make a breakthrough. But the longer the dockets remain unattended, the more difficult it becomes to investigate that cases properly. Evidence get lost, witnesses forget with time, and therefore the investigation, any investigation, will be detrimentally affected if it is stored somewhere and no attention it doesn't receive attention in the furtherance of the investigation.
SAPS Major General Petronella van Rooyen speaking there at the Commission. Very interesting listening to that. Backing up Muanazi's concerns here, the head of legal. She is being led through her evidence by the evidence leader, Advocate Terry Motau, in his yellow bow tie and yellow and blue polka dot pocket chief. So that is happening at the moment. Interesting to hear from other police officers now and whether or not they do corroborate what Muanazi has had to say.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Good day, Mandy. It's Norman and Pretoria. Great to be back. Yeah, listening to the developments of SAPS and the commission, the Madlanga Commission. I think that is quite clear that the minister was in a very unfamiliar territory in terms of interfering with the operational matters of National Commissioner Masemola. But I'm also intrigued by this Ekurhuleni City Council meeting to deal with this shady character, the Deputy Chief of Metro Police, Julius Muanazi. Let's hope they do the right thing there.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Hola Mzansi, Dr. Kumalo here. The first official Bafana Bafana game is now live at 10Bet. With Bafana Megaways from 10Bet, everyone can play for Bafana Bafana. Join now at 10bet.co.za.
10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. License number 921096661.
The motor racing event Cape Town has been waiting for is finally here. Get ready for the Speed Classic Cape Town. Over 140 historic cars, race cars and supercars will compete in a full throttle showcase of motion, sound and style. Experience the ultimate speed test as the legends of yesterday meet the icons of tomorrow. The Speed Classic Cape Town takes place on Philip Khosana Drive on October 25th and 26th. Get your tickets at Web Tickets today.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent shuttling his kids, with a back seat full of chatter, laughter, lunchboxes and lost shoes. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a regular yet special slice of a family's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
12:22 on the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener. The Constitutional Court hearing arguments related to the constitutional invalidity of various provisions of the Sexual Offences Act, including the sexual offence of rape. This decision could result in a change to sexual offences laws in the country. So, in short, South Africa's sexual offences laws, and in particular sexual consent, are on trial before the Constitutional Court. Carlo Peterson, EWN reporter, is following the story for us. Carlo, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time today. Take us through the essence of the argument being brought here by the Embrace Project.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Yes, so this constitutional challenge was launched by the Embrace Project, which is a non-profit company, and Inga Holstrager, a rape survivor. And the case was against the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, the President, and one other, and it was launched 3 years ago. And then in September last year, the Pretoria High Court handed down judgment declaring that certain provisions in the Sexual Offence Act is unconstitutional for failing to protect gender-based violence and femicide victims against legal bias in favor of perpetrators. Essentially, what the court ordered was that there should be a reading in to that act that would require, going forward, that an accused person show that they took objectively reasonable steps to ascertain that the complainant consented to sexual conduct. So now in this Constitutional Court matter, we have seen the Center for Applied Legal Studies intervening as a third applicant before the High Court. And what they are doing is they're appealing that High Court judgment, which was granted in favor of the Embrace Project. And we also see the President, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, and the Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, who have filed their affidavit notifying the ConCourt of their decision to abide by the court's ruling. Previously, the Minister of Justice had opposed the Embrace Project's application. And we also have the Women's Legal Center, who are now arguing against the declaration of the Constitutional Court's invalidity, which they're saying that there's no need to change that law, and they are effectively stepping into the shoes of the Minister of Justice. This morning we saw Senior Counsel Nazreen Rajab Badlender making submissions on behalf of the Embrace Project, and she was questioned by Justice Mklantla specifically about the relief they are seeking, and this is what they had to say.
And that is sought by the applicants is that the accused must show that they took reasonable steps to establish the presence of consent.
Yes, we say that if the accused raises consent as a defense, then he must prove that he took reasonable steps to ascertain that consent. So the way in which we've tried to craft our relief is to say that we won't tamper with the text of the offence.
So that is some of the argument that was being heard today around the Sexual Offences Act. So just a reminder, the court is being asked by the Embrace Project and a date rape survivor for the declaration of constitutional invalidity. It is being opposed. The Centre for the Applied Legal Study, CULS, has also intervened as a third applicant in the matter. So let's find out their position. Leanne Gartner is a communications specialist at CULS and joins us now. Leanne, good afternoon to you. What is CULS's argument when it comes to this matter?
Hi, Mandy. Thanks very much for having us on your show. So CULS takes the view that consent is a very important concept in criminal law. Now, for most cases, including some violent crimes, for example, assault, consent is used as a defense. So assault is defined as the unlawful and intentional act of application of force on another person. And at trial, somebody who's accused of assault can raise a defense of consent and say, actually, I had the permission of the complainant to assault them, so I shouldn't be found guilty. This is what allows people to, for example, play contact sports like rugby or boxing and not be afraid of being arrested and charged with assault. Sexual offences, on the other hand, have consent as part of their definition. So sexual assault, for example, is defined as sexually violating another person intentionally and unlawfully without their consent. So now suddenly for sexual offences compared to other violent crimes, we've got this extra element that needs to be proven. So the state needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, not just that it was intentional and unlawful, but also that it happened without the complainant's consent. Now, practically what that means is that when we get to rape trials or trials for sexual assault, the focus becomes the victim. So the focus is, how did the victim resist? Did they use physical force to get away from their attacker? Did they scream? And we're not then focusing on the behavior, the coercive behavior of the perpetrator. So what CULS is basically saying is that this is a really unfair situation. We're creating this distinction between gendered crimes like sexual violence and non-gendered crimes like assault. So we don't want there to be that distinction. We want to remove kind of without their consent from the definition of sexual offences, so that it becomes like every other violent crime where you could raise a defense of consent, but consent is not actually part of the definition.
So you're asking for different relief, a different remedy to what the Embrace Project is.
Exactly. And what we're saying is that we don't oppose Embrace at all. We just want to take it a step further, basically. We think that in getting rid of consent from the definition of sexual offences, that will also help cases like Embrace's.
Right. Leanne, thank you so much for explaining that for us. Leanne Gartner, communications specialist at the Centre for Applied Legal Studies, that matter being heard in the Constitutional Court today. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. The Patriotic Alliance has reiterated its threat to walk away from the Government of National Unity if Ekurhuleni is not reinstated as in Joburg's mayoral committee. Party leader Gayton McKenzie, who serves on the GNU as the Minister of Sport, threatened to withdraw from all coalitions unless Ekurhuleni gets his job back. The threats come just days after Ekurhuleni was cleared of wrongdoing in an internal party process. A memorial service is set to be held today to celebrate the life of slain National Taxi Alliance chairperson Madlanga Commission. Family, friends and colleagues will gather at the Diepkloof Community Hall for that service in Soweto. Moya was shot and killed last week on the Soweto highway while travelling alone to a meeting. And a Johannesburg woman accused of murdering her boyfriend will be appearing in the Alexandra Magistrates Court today. She was arrested in the early hours of Monday morning at an apartment complex in Midrand, north of Joburg. It's understood she stabbed her partner in the chest near his neck and he succumbed to his injuries. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Anthony Teixeira. The Proteas women are playing their first of two World Cup warm-up ODIs. They won the toss and elected to bat first against Bangladesh in Colombo. Tasman Brits is the only one remaining from the top order on 19. That's because captain Laura Wolfart was out for a golden duck. Then 2 overs later, Andri Dirksen was dismissed for 2 and Marizan Cup didn't hang around for too long with the all-rounder out for 21. Thankfully, the rain has delayed the match for a bit, giving the Proteas women a chance to regroup. In football, Mamelodi Sundowns' unbeaten start to the Betway Premiership came crashing down Wednesday as they were beaten 1-0 by Golden Arrows, their first loss since mid-March in the league. Coach Miguel Cardozo felt that they just didn't do enough to earn the points.
We were not very aggressive. Then when we arrived on the last third, it was missing shots, missing spontaneity on the capacity to shot on the goal. And the team that doesn't score when has opportunities will always struggle in the end of the match by not getting the result we wanted and by letting the energy of Golden Arrows always be increasing.
Yesterday, we also saw 1-1 draws for Ekurhuleni United and Kaizer Chiefs against Chippa and Marimo Gallants, respectively. Elsewhere, there were wins for Richards Bay TS Galaxy and Orbit College and a goalless between Stellenbosch and Durban City. In England, no shocks in the Carabao Cup third-round matches as Man City, Newcastle, Spurs and Arsenal all won their outings. And former F1 driver Romain Grosjean will be driving a horse for the first time since 2020 and his fireball crash, which ended his Grand Prix career and nearly killed him. He agreed to test the 2023 model at the Mugello circuit as part of a feature for F1 TV. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading towards Midrand, there's slow-moving traffic leaving Alex. This is on the N3 northbound between Marlborough Drive and the Patrol interchange, and also leaving Edenvale heading towards Germiston. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N3 southbound between the between the Kilulis interchange and the Ilans interchange, also coming from Edenvale heading towards Bedford View. Slow-moving traffic R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange. While in the Mother City, look out for roadworks on the N1 outbound after the toll plaza, slowing down traffic. Also roadworks on the N1 outbound after Hill Basson. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
There's something magical about booking your next getaway. Whether you're flying for business or leisure, Airlink is ready to take you there in premium comfort. With over 45 destinations in 15 African countries, Airlink connects you throughout Southern Africa and beyond. No middle seats, just wider window or aisle seating. And yes, free luggage, snacks and beverages are still our thing. Plus, our Skybucks frequent fly program rewards you every time you fly. Book on flyairlink.com or your travel agent. Fly Airlink, the freedom of the African sky.
Experience extraordinary with the new iPhone 17, 256 gig from Vodacom, Zanzi's winning 5G network. More delightful, more durable, and now available. Get yours on a 3 gig red core plan from $899 per month over 36 months, plus a free extended warranty. Be the first to get it today. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Feather together. Vodacom.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy. Pumlani in Centurion. Mandy, you know,
a couple of weeks ago when General Muanazi came out with these allegations, I found it very strange that Glenis Breitenbach came out guns blazing and criticized Muanazi for how he went about it. And I was wondering, Glenis is one of those people that are very straightforward and she will clap hands if somebody ever exposes crime, only to find out that Diane Kohler-Barnett, who's DAMP, is implicated in this. Now, that speaks back to why Glenis was critical of Muanazi.
Thank you very much. I think that the issue was the optics, right, and the wearing of military style fatigues, which I know is the task force uniform. Before anyone criticizes that, and I think there'll be an opportunity to respond. I saw Diane Kohler-Barnett has responded already to the allegations. Remember, it's going to be a long commission, so I think we need to just make sure that we listen to everything, and we don't cast individuals as heroes and villains.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
The Road Accident Fund says that it has already paid 3.3 billion rand in the past 3 weeks, just a small portion of the 20 billion rand that it needs to pay for claims older than 180 days. If you remember, there was a High Court ruling and the decision was made that they were going to aggressively start paying so they could deal with backlogs. Let's find out more about this. Macintosh Polela is the Road Accident Fund Head of Corporate Comms. Macintosh, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Tell us about where we are with payments.
Good afternoon, my lady. So where we are is the aim, as per the instruction of the board. It is expected that we need to have monthly payments totaling around 4 billion to be able to pay out all the claims that are outstanding for more than 180 days. This is just part of a turnaround strategy with the interim board that has just come in a couple of weeks ago, if not shy of 2 months, basically.
So for those people who are sitting in the backlog queue, what are the expectations for them?
So the expectations are that with everyone that has received confirmation that their claims have been successfully processed, basically we're going on an overdrive to make sure that they are paid as soon as possible. So they should expect to, receive a call from their regional offices or their attorneys, if they're represented by attorneys, to say the money has come through and that they need to effect signatures if they are paid by attorneys and that the awards are going to be given to them. Basically, what we're trying to do is to make sure that we pay as many people as possible and basically to restore their dignity and to take away all the impediments that we've had in the past.
Some good news, Macintosh. Thank you so much, my sir. Macintosh Polela, the Road Accident Fund Head of Corporate Communications. So if you're waiting for a payout, some positive news there.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car full of groceries and a lady who will be attempting to make her mother-in-law's famous recipe for the family dinner tonight. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's butterflies and a potential bonding moment. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 2-liter Spar or sunflower oil for $69.99 with Spar Rewards, or 3 kg Sunlight 5-in-1 washing powder for $79.99. Save 25 Rand with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Competition ends 7 October. Price is valid 23 September to 7 October 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Dis-Chem has the best deals just for you, with everything you need on your healthy living journey. Get 20% off the A. Vogel Molkesan range for a healthy digestive system. Buy any 3 Slowmac products and get the cheapest free for relief from muscle cramps, fatigue and stress. And get 2+1 cheapest free on any Turbovite supplements to boost physical and mental performance. Offers valid until 19 October at Dis-Chem, your healthy living destination. Better health starts here.
Small businesses are anything but small.
They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers,
The ones who keep Mzansi moving forward.
That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them
In the spotlight.
every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m. Catch Small Business Focus with Capitec,
Where we showcase the hustle,
heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone.
Small Business Focus with Capitec.
The business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m.
On 702.
Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP.
46669.
702 and Cape Talk.
Book of the Week.
It's a Thursday, and on Thursdays in the Midday Report, we speak to the author of a local non-fiction book. So I am abusing the platform because I can't interview myself. And I've just released a book. It's called The Deal, Inside the Talks That Shaped South Africa's Future. My colleagues will be interviewing me on both 702 and Cape Talk, but I thought I would play you some of the audio from the interviews that I've been doing. So for the past year, I have done interviews with all the leaders of the political parties, many of them at least. I did an interview with President Cyril Ramaphosa last month, and I think that you deserve to hear. And that was the reason that I wrote the book, was because we as South Africans deserve to know what goes on behind closed doors, determining the future of our country. So I'm going to play you 3 clips. I couldn't play everything, obviously. I've interviewed many political party leaders, but I want to start with some of the audio from my interview with President Cyril Ramaphosa last month. He spoke to me about his expectations, how he thought the ANC would get 56%, how it was a horror story that he was watching as the results were coming in. And then I asked him about his relationship with John Steenhuisen, how important that relationship is in determining the negotiations, the GNU, the outcome, and going forward. And John Steenhuisen had described this moment where he had arrived at Madlanga Commission with a bottle of Nick and 40's Epicenter from Sarensburg Estate to try and mend their relationship after all of those letters were made public. So take a listen to what President Cyril Ramaphosa had to say about that.
In many ways, when I met Steenhuisen and I took him out onto the balcony and I showed him Madiba's favorite viewing sites where he used to say he wanted Parliament to be just across Madlanga Commission, where he could look down on what was happening in Parliament. That was a moment when I call it a mellowing moment, a moment when I had a sense that I could work with John Steenhuisen and we could have a good affinity and be able to put the interests of the country together. And it was a good moment. And I think he brought me a bottle of wine. Yeah, he bought me a bottle of wine, which we didn't have the time to open and share. So it was a really good gesture moment at that time. Yeah.
So much is often said about your relationship with Rolf and how that was crucial. How important is it to have the leaders of parties or the chief negotiators of parties, your relationship with John, to ensure the success of negotiations?
Yes, I had a very, very good, and I would call it a special relationship with Rolf. And there was mutual respect, mutual deep consideration for each other, and we understood also where each one of us came from, what motivated our party dynamics and what motivated his party dynamics, and we knew the limits of where each one of us could go, and there was a deep sense of trust as well between the two of us. And you would know, of course, with a fishing story that was written about, and it was those moments, much as the fishing moment came by surprise for me, when I reported it back to Madiba, as I had to. Madiba said, you must keep going at it, you must even go and visit him at his home, which I never did. So there was the involvement of a really wholesome and worthwhile relationship. And I never had the sense that in my dealings with Rolf, I would be sort of dealing with other people where he would immediately go and rat on me in terms of what I said or be reporting to others. You know, that type of relationship where you have a sense that there are third parties who are listening to everything you're doing. I don't have the same with Steenhuisen, unfortunately. Each time I meet with Steenhuisen, I have a sense that he goes out and tweets and immediately goes on social media. And when you deal with somebody like that, you hold back because you always are on guard. Is he going to be revealing some of the things that we've been talking about? And that is lacking, and that magic is lacking between the two of us. And whilst that moment of looking at the vista from Madlanga and the wine sharing and all that seemed to sort of hearken a moment where we could develop a good relationship. What has tended to happen thereafter has actually infected that. Maybe it will be rebuilt. I live in hope that it can be rebuilt. Because personal relationships matter, even in political dealings. They really matter. The magic that is formed between two people often determines what happens at the broader superstructure of dealings in political level.
President Cyril Ramaphosa speaking to me there in an interview last month about his relationship with John Steenhuisen. I want to play you now a part of the interview with Gayton McKenzie, Patriotic Alliance leader, in light of the fact that he's talking about potentially leaving the GNU today. And he spoke to me about the negotiations at the Inanda Club in Joburg, where the ANC met with all the political parties. And he was genuinely expecting a deal that would see him become deputy president of the country. Take a listen.
I didn't care who's in the GNU. I wanted to be in government. I want to be in the castle. I wanted to live in the castle, even if I don't make the rules of the castle. I knew I don't want to be the guy showing the castle. Because being in the castle comes with some benefits for the people that voted for us. So the ANC rocks up. Just the whole demeanor was not a relaxed demeanor. And how they asked the question, do you want to be part of us, of the GNU? I said, yes, we want to be part of the GNU. But can you tell us what you want? And I think that's one of the smartest things I've ever done in my life. When they ask me, tell us what you want. Because in my mind, don't tell me how I knew that. I think they were just busy now knowing they've got to deal with the DA. And they just want to tick the box and say, we've spoken to everyone. But I also knew we're important for this GNU. Because our inclusion in the GNU, that don't make it a sellout position. Yeah. Gayton being there can't be a sellout position to white people. I'm outspoken. I'm loud, I'm thin. And I said to them, guys, here's the issue. I bought a vehicle this week. That's what I told the NEC. I said, I bought a very expensive vehicle for my partner this week. They're listening, all of them. I said, a very expensive vehicle. So no, they asked me, what do you want? I said, let me tell you what I want. I bought a very expensive vehicle for my partner this week. When I was at a dealership looking at a vehicle, my son's birthday came up next week. It's my son's birthday next week. One of his friends, one of his student friends, saw me at the dealership looking at this expensive vehicle, which was not for my son. It was for my partner. But he went back to my son, he said, I saw your dad. I saw your dad at Lamborghini. My son, wow, my dad's carrying me a Lamborghini. While I'm getting him a Golf. So I see my son is just the happiest chappy around the house. When he comes visit, stays on his own. Hey Dad, you're cool, I love you. The best dad in the world. Gotcha, G. I've never seen that fucker like that. I've never seen him like that. Like, I feel like Dad of the Year. Dad, you're the best. Thank you. I said, what's up? That's who you are, Dad. I don't think I appreciate you enough, Dad. Like, acting the fool. He's a smart boy. When he saw his stepmom getting the gift, he started thinking, what the fuck is happening here? What's that supposed to be, I think? And we handed him over his golf. Now, he knows me too well to be ungrateful. Because I'll take it back, I'll slap him down to the ground. But he was like, thank you. He was like, I deserve it. So they were all laughing when I told the story. Not knowing where I'm going with the story. I said, so the Patriotic Alliance makes no demands. But look at all the municipalities that we are in partnership with you. Look at how many times we form coalitions with you. We've been a true friend to you.
Don't give me a golf.
Don't give us a golf. You're smart. Said, don't give us a golf. They burst out laughing. They went to that was the end of the meeting. I made no demands. I never demanded home affairs. I never demanded sports.
Did they ever mention?
So, Gates and McKenzie there. Those F-bombs were entirely my fault. I left them in accidentally. I apologize for anyone who may have been offended. KG had nothing to do with it. That was my fault. Apologies for that. I should have known better with Gates and McKenzie that there are a couple of F-bombs in there. But he's telling the story there about how he went into the meeting with the ANC, saying that he didn't want a Taz, he didn't want a Golf. He wanted a Lamborghini at least. So he wanted a proper offer. And a Taz would have been a deputy ministry or a chairperson of a committee. I also did an interview with Helen Ziller. Spent many hours with Helen Ziller, John Steenhuisen, Tony Leon as well. And I just want to give you a sense, so often we hear from different politicians. Many of them were very vulnerable in their interviews with me and told personal stories. And this is something a bit different from Helen Ziller about the meaning for her of what she does.
My granddaughter, not before the election, she called me up and she said she made me beads for good luck. So I drove to their place and I got these beads.
How old is she?
7. And she was just 7 then. And she said she made me the beads in the DA colours like that, right? She'd painted them each individually with a little paint kit and the whole lot. And she and her brother, I think her brother was more a pest than a help, but her little brother made those and put them on the string for me. So I thought, okay, these get worn from this moment till the election results are announced. And I wore them through the whole negotiation as well. I didn't take them off. So I said, well, I'm going to have to sleep with these beads, which I then did. And washing my hair was a real difficulty because I couldn't stand under the shower because it was poster paints, obviously, so they would have all washed away, right? So now I have to kneel in the bath, stick my head down, not get the beads wet, wash my, it was a gedunte, right? Anyway, those beads were with me in every single photo of me. You will see right till the end I was wearing those beads. My sons are incredibly supportive of me, and so we said, okay, let's get together, I'll tell you the story behind the story. And I arrived there and we have a bottle of bubbly. My daughter-in-law put a bottle of bubbly there, right? Thanks, Janine, come right in. Oh, thanks, Janine. Welcome. And my daughter-in-law put a bottle of bubbly on ice, so I get there, and now I'm telling the story, but especially of the last 24 hours. And my youngest son looks at me and he shakes his head and he says, Mom, you guys want to run the country and you can't even do version control. Quite right, we couldn't do version control. It was very, very funny, and we just, we've got a very close family, and at moments of great triumph or sadness, unfortunately, we haven't had any moments of grief, thank goodness. But, we all get together and it's just this lekker bond. And so I got together with my sons and they were laughing like hell at my stories, and it's just lekker.
So lekker. Yeah. Was there a moment of acknowledgement, like what you had achieved in the future of the country?
Well, when I got there and I said, Mila, your beads helped me so much, because I was still wearing them. I said, oh, your beads helped me so much. And they meant so much to me. Had them on my show. I said, and I showed her some of the pictures that had appeared in them. I said, they all show me with your beads on. And she was really impressed by that, right? And then Paul looked at her and said, you can't grasp.
Yeah, you can't grasp what your grandmother has done for this country, is the line there from Helen Ziller. So just some insights there into some of the interviews that I've done for The Deal. The book is called The Deal. It's about the negotiations behind the GNU inside the room. So that's our book of the week. I can't interview myself, so I thought I'd play some of the audio from the interviews that I've done. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Dreaming of a tropical escape? World Leisure Holidays has your ticket to paradise with exclusive getaways to the Indian Ocean Islands. From the beaches of Mauritius and the Maldives to the charm of Madagascar, Seychelles, Zanzibar, and more, your dream destination awaits. Take advantage of early bird specials and pay stay offers. Call 011-285-2500 and mention 702 for a mystery discount. Or follow us on social media or contact your nearest travel professional. Start planning your escape today. T's and C's apply.
The Fine Fragrance Sale is back, 24 to 28 September. Enjoy up to 50% off on selected fine fragrance brands, plus amazing deals on makeup and skincare products. Get down to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Don't miss your chance to score unbeatable prices on top international fragrance and cosmetic brands. The sale ends on the 28th of September. See you there.
Remember when everyone thought NFTs were the future of modern art? When non-fungible was a buzzword used in boardrooms to justify buying pixels, and the metaverse was just months away, and that we'll all be living in our virtual mansions, admiring our digital.
Well, thank you very much for listening today. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The Road Accident Fund resumes payment of outstanding claims, and the PA threatens to walk away from the GNU. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Road Accident Fund has announced the resumption of payments of Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Road Accident Fund has announced the resumption of payments of outstanding claims, starting with those older than 180 days. The fund estimates the total value of claims in this category to be more than 20 billion rand and says over the past 2 weeks it's already paid out more than 3 billion rand of these. The announcement follows last month's appointment of a new board for the entity. It also comes as Parliament gears up for the start of an inquiry next month into allegations of financial mismanagement at the fund. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The RAF's new board says it's done a comprehensive review of claims older than 180 days and it's giving priority to settling them. It expects to pay out more than 4 billion rand in claims every month as it seeks to reduce the number of claims waiting to be processed. The RAF says it's also put controls in place to ensure supporting documentation is reviewed promptly to avoid delays in making payments. The interim board, under the leadership of a former Treasury official, Kenneth Brown, is also pledging to make public bi-monthly reports detailing the progress made in payments. Acknowledging the numerous claims-related complaints it has received ahead of its inquiry into financial mismanagement at the RAF, Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts said last week these would not be considered since it falls outside the scope of its probe. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard that Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, had no authority to remove dockets from the KZN Political Killings Task Team. Sibiya gave the instruction that 121 dockets be moved from the task team to police headquarters in Pretoria, halting the unit's investigations. Head of the SAPS's Legal Division, Major General Petronella van Rooyen, has been testifying at the Commission in Pretoria today. She says Sibiya's decision to move the dockets without consulting KZN Police Commissioner Muanazi was problematic.
Then it means there are things happening in the police that the provincial commissioner is accountable for, but he doesn't have any knowledge of that. So that is problematic. It undermines the authority of a provincial commissioner to effectively manage the police within that province.
To this now, the Patriotic Alliance has threatened to walk away from the Government of National Unity if Kenny Kunene is not reinstated to Joburg's mayoral committee. Party leader Gayton McKenzie, who serves on the GNU as the Minister of Sport, threatened to withdraw from all coalitions unless Kunene gets his job back. The threats come days after Kunene was cleared of wrongdoing in an internal party process. Babalondenze has more.
Kenny Kunene was removed from the mayoral committee by the